Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Mentorship Monday, where we talk about all things spiritual, metaphysical, mediumship, you name it. We go over all of it, plus all of our special stories. But today, we are so excited because not only is it another Monday that we love getting together on, but we have our friend Debs, and she's from silvervioletflame.com. Also on YouTube as well. And Debs I've known for a little while. She's joined Maren and I in some of our events, and I've gotten to know her. And she has an incredible, beautiful energy that she shares with the world through her journey. So we're going to talk to Debs a little bit today and get to know her, get to know about what she does and where she's headed and all of that other fun stuff. Before we start, in M&M fashion, Maren has a little something she'd like to share, which I think is pretty cool. And I've heard a little tidbit of this, but I've not really heard it all. So how's it going, Maren?
Okay.
And welcome, Debs.
Yes. Welcome, Debs. We're so excited to have you on the show. You are our first guest in our series of guest talks that we want to do. So thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
We can't wait to hear your story. Yeah, I do have something that just happened, and so I wanted to share really quickly. You know how I am one for signs, and so I'll always, ask my spirit guides to show me a sign for, if something happens and they've kind of been kind of wild. Well, my husband had a decision to make, and he, was like, trying to push me on it. And I'm like, I don't know. Just ask your guides to show you a sign. So he went to this work conference out of town, and he drove there, and he drove into the hotel and drove it straight from the parking garage and entered the hotel through the parking garage. And then he was in meetings all day in the basement without a window. And in the morning of the meetings, he said to his spirit guides, show me a rose if I'm supposed to make this decision. And so he was in meetings all day. He forgot about the fact that he asked his spirits guides about that. When he got done with his meetings, like 8 hours later, he's like, oh my gosh, I just need to go outside and go for a walk and like stretch my legs, And he was walking. He turned the corner of the hotel, and this was his sign. A water tower that is painted like a rose.
Wow.
Isn't that unbelievable?
That's incredible.
Wow.
How's that for a sign?
I mean, you can't ask for a bigger
Biggest
sign.
rose
No.
ever.
I know. It probably is. It's probably the world record rose.
Yeah, that must have just blown him away when he saw that.
It did, and it blew me away. Like, it's just incredible. So, yeah, I highly encourage everyone to do that. If you have big decisions, you don't have to be intuitive. You just have to ask your guides and believe, and they will show you signs. So, unmistakable ones too, because I feel like if he would have, seen like a rose bush, he would have been like, well, I don't know, it's summer, but you can't mistake a giant water tower painted like a rose.
Beautiful.
No.
So
that is amazing.
Yeah.
That is really, and it's interesting too, because, like sometimes I'll get somebody that, they're saying, I'm not getting signs from my guides, and not all of them will come as clear as that. Sometimes they really will come in these smaller ways, but when you get a sign, even if it was a rose bush, let's say, acknowledge it, right? So if you get something smaller, it's good to acknowledge it and to say, okay, can you show me something bigger? I get that. Can you show me something bigger?
Yeah.
And work with them, because it's when you discount it completely and just say, no, that's not it, or that's not good enough, you're not building the momentum.
Yes.
And the guides use that energetic momentum with us. And I always liken it to a friendship. if you have a friend that's texting you over and over and over and you're not responding or you're not
Uh,
acknowledging in any way, they're going to stop texting. They're going to,
yeah.
the communication is going to start to jumble up and it's not going to be as easy. So even if
Mm-hmm.
your belief system is in a place where you're like, yeah, I get other people get signs, but I don't really think I get signs. If you
Mm-hmm.
keep yourself as open as possible and you acknowledge it, even if you're not 100% sure, acknowledging it
Mm-hmm.
is a lot better than just swiping it off the table, right? So,
Yes. It's so funny because I kind of got imagery about that this week, like with energy lines, I feel like everybody's got these energy lines and they start out really small, but the more you acknowledge them, it's like layers keep getting put on the line. And so then
yeah.
it becomes this bigger form of energy that's easier to see, easier to work with.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why they say intuition is a muscle, because it's like the more you use it, the more you strengthen that energy line, um, the easier it will be. So,
Yes.
yeah,
Exactly.
keep
Exactly.
acknowledging. So, and this is the guy
Absolutely.
that he asked for the shark sign like a few weeks ago. And my son was wearing the shark shirt, and he was
Uh-huh.
like, no, that doesn't count. And he even said the word shark. I was like, it counts. So I think
Yeah.
that played, a part of this like layering of energy. So just like you said, Michelle. So
Yes.
really cool.
Yeah.
Really cool
It's
story.
a
So
it's a it's a
highly
building.
encourage this.
Yeah, I
Yes.
love the signs. I get a lot of signs with animals. A lot of animals and insects and things like that, and I just have so much fun with it. But it really our intuitive nature with spirit, with our guides. It's a beautiful game. It's a language,
Mm-hmm.
So
I
we're
love
really
that.
playing this beautiful language that doesn't normally come with words. It can,
Yeah.
but we're getting to know this language of feeling, and these visual signs, our entire reality. Every single day, from the moment we open our eyes to the moment we go to sleep at night, everything in our reality is working with us. So it's up to us how we decide to put the meaning to it and how we
Yeah.
want to work with it. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about you guys, but that's a big game changer for me. That really changed my life when I started viewing it in that way and allowed myself to have that, and it takes practice too, because our belief systems and life, what we get busy with and everything that goes on can kind of work its way in and we forget. So the consistency of working with this language is just,
Yes.
it's a beautiful way to live. And it
Yeah.
certainly does take practice, but I wouldn't have it any other way. I
Yeah.
can tell you that.
I can tell you a funny story.
So,
Eric is in it.
yeah,
So my friend,
yeah,
it's just opened up, and I was talking to Michelle about her, and we were talking about signs, and I said, well, Eric had this message for you, and this is the message, and she's sitting outside on her porch, and she says, well, I guess the message for me is full speed ahead then. And this guy rode up on a motorbike and just slammed his brakes on in front of her house. And she says, oh my God, she says, this guy just ran up in front of my house and slammed his brakes on a motorbike. She says, that's a sign. She doesn't know anything, about Eric and his motorbike. And I said, well, that's Eric. I says, that's your sign. So I thought
yeah.
that was so cool.
That's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's so
Wow,
cool.
that's really cool.
Yeah.
I love that stuff. I just love it. And Eric, he certainly does make himself known. He has his ways to put his
He does.
signature on, yeah, on what he's
Yeah.
doing. That is so cool. I love it.
I love that.
Well, Debs, let's get into it with you. Let's let everybody in the community know you and know your story. And you are amazing. You're an amazing intuitive. The energy that exudes from you and your ability with your voice, I'll say your voice is so calming and peaceful. Every time I connect with you, I feel like I'm just being softened with butter. Your voice is
Mm-hmm.
so peaceful.
Thank you.
So everybody enjoy her sound because it's amazing. It's very healing.
Thank you.
But could you kind of give us an idea? Because I know you've been on a healing journey and you've been working with others healing for quite some time. And your journey has taken so many big steps of growth, and you've learned so much. But could you kind of start out with, like, what got you into doing healing in the first place, and tell us a little bit about your journey?
Yeah, well, from about teenage years onwards, I would say anxiety hit me really hard, and I didn't understand it. I didn't even know anything about the word anxiety or social anxiety or anything like that. But I learned through time that it was social anxiety that I had grown into when I hit, say, about 18, which I learned is a really, important age for people, stepping into their adulthood. So I just felt a terrible fear of people and attention, and I would lock myself up. I would feel myself tensing up, and I would just want to run. It was like a fight or flight kind of thing with people. And I didn't understand, where this was coming from. So I just read all the books and searched, and I found a few spiritual books. And I knew deep down in my heart that there was an answer. And I just kept searching and searching for the answer. And that brought me into healing. And it was distance healing then, because it was quite a long time ago. And I would feel the energy coming, from the distance healing through even reading the books that people had written. And the angel books, I would feel the angels all around me when I would read the angel books. So it was really magical. And I just went into that zone and started searching. And that was really how I went on my journey. And then I got married, and I always meditated, and I always needed to do that because I was still fighting this tension, this social anxiety, because it kept me back, and it just meant I was hiding for life, from life. And my husband, he sort of grew into being quite narcissistic, so I learned a lot through that relationship. Gaslighting and narcissism. So I didn't know what it was at the time. I had no label for it. But then, when I came out of the marriage and started opening up with Reiki and Theta and the modalities that I went into, I started to learn about all of these things, and, how that's, I started to understand myself, my own energy.
Yes.
As such. And so that's how it all began for me.
So you started doing work with other people, so learning more about yourself, and then you were able to work with other people.
The Theta was brilliant. I went to Scotland and I studied Theta Healing.
Wow.
And it's all about removing self-limiting beliefs. So we work one-to-one with each other. We just talk about our stories, basically. And then we bring in creator's truth of, what the self-limiting belief is. And we get to the very bottom layer of where it came from. So you're understanding yourself, and you're healing yourself as well. And the other person is just holding space for you. And, asking you questions. Where did that first begin? Why did it happen? How did it happen? And learning to forgive yourself and feel worthy of, being here and without all the labels that everyone has put upon you. So it just stripped back all of the layers, and then it freed me up to go on and teach Theta myself and give sessions to people.
And that's right, you're a teacher as well. So you can mentor and teach others in that same with healing.
Yes.
So now, what? Because I know you've had more awakening. I know there's been so much growth that's taken place.
Yes.
So what took you from that place to expanding your journey?
Hitting rock bottom, I would say. Yeah. So there was a lot of, I would say, because my energy, I had found out later through people telling me, is it's quite pure. You know, it's I'm not like egotistical, or I think I was a bit naive when I went into all of this, and because I came from an anxious background, I just flowed to the positive green energy of healing. And I was like, oh, I
Yeah.
just jump in and I'll do this. And I didn't grind, I didn't
Yeah.
think things through. So people took advantage of that, people who weren't
Yeah.
in their integrity. And
Yeah.
I had a lot of psychic attacks. And in
Yes.
one case, it happened to me a couple of times. So I was quite annoyed with myself that it had happened to me a couple of times. But they were huge lessons. The second time it happened
Yes.
was during COVID. And I took, it seemed like a breakdown because I was pacing the floor. And I had to go and live with my parents over, the whole COVID time, over about 6 months. And I was just like, I've never got back into spirituality again. How could this happen to me? How could spirit do this to me? All that blame and, really, no. And my parents, they were all like, oh, come on, come on, come on, you can do, this, that, and the other, leave all that stuff behind. So it was like, wow, for someone who's so, spiritual. And I just thought, who am I? What do I do? What do I do now? It was all about my identity.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, I'll just go, when COVID's over, I'll get a regular job. I'll just forget about all this stuff. But of course, we know that's not the way it happened. So then I started watching Channeling Eric, and I just got back into it again. And I said, yeah. And it just felt like soul family. That was me with my soul family. I was just really gentle with myself. And I learned how to read tarot because I'd been in a relationship after the COVID. I met someone and we were together for a year, and it ended quite abruptly. And I thought, I wanted to understand about this. And I started learning tarot to learn about how to understand myself more and how to understand him and, all the people in my life. And that opened up a whole new world to me as well, because I had a new skill. And again, with channeling Eric, I did the ERPE, I did the self-love, the mini mediumship, the age reversal. Each one just kind of so gentle, and it was so beautiful, and everything just wove into place. People appeared and opportunities appeared, and I just felt so clear about my boundaries with people and unafraid to, be seen. Because when that happened to me, I was like, I have to hide because people are going to see me and they're going to hurt me. And, I don't want this to happen again. And, my family were like, don't be getting into that again. Don't be getting into that world again, because they're Catholic, Irish Catholic family. Don't be getting into that again. So I had to be, strong and, be true to myself and say, no, this is me. This is who I am. I'm not going to live in fear. Yeah. The rest of my life, so that's where I am now, and I just doing my little channel and helping people, listening to me and my story about anxiety, and I'm doing the true crime as well.
That's a really big one. Like that's really big. What you just explained there about your experience. And I think that a lot of us that have walked this path can understand that. Can understand that place of, I know for myself, going from that place of jumping in and feeling that healing energy in the beginning, and it feels so good, and I'm gonna slide along with this, and I'm just gonna keep doing and bringing it all in, and then eventually it crashes.
You can't live like that, it's a delicate dance. You just have
you can't live in these upper chakras
live
up here.
just there, and But that was me. I was comfortable in extremes, you see, because I had always lived in anxiety. So that was why I
Yes,
knew where I was when I was living in anxiety. So then when I was
that's
opened
right.
up so quickly, I would say it was the Reiki that opened me up. I just
Yes,
flew. I was just like, I'm not going back there again.
yeah.
So it was all about me coming back to where I am now, which is in that place of, you know,
Yes. Because all of
being
those experiences,
grounded. Hmm.
yes,
Yeah,
because you're
so
very
important.
grounded. You're
Hmm.
very grounded.
Yeah,
And all of those experiences that you have, I can see how important that was to go through that, to really be able to understand yourself in all different facets, and then to be able to integrate all of that energy
yeah,
in that
yeah,
grounding and with the boundaries and the focus to really be able to pull, because for us to be able to pull that wisdom and to pull that energy into reality
yeah,
for ourselves and for others, we have to integrate those experiences
yes.
and to understand them.
That's a very
And so it's been a
important
real
point.
journey of you understanding
Yeah,
yourself, hasn't it?
yes, because often
Yeah.
when I would, give people Theta Healing Sessions, I would sort of think to myself it's nearly like on a subconscious level, I feel like I'm a bit
Yeah.
of a fraud here.
Mm.
And I remember saying that to my theatre teacher, and she didn't give me much of a response. But that's exactly what it was, because I knew on some level that I wasn't grounded.
Mm.
I knew that
Yeah.
there was something missing, and that's what it was.
Yeah.
But again,
Yeah.
not everybody goes through that. That was something that was also like it
Right.
was a past life that had come up at the same time as well with me.
Yes.
So it made it doubly, more intensive. Um, it was Denise Ramon that told me that when I talked to her about it. And she says, Deborah, the reason why that was so intense was because the past life had come up at the same time as the COVID clearing, with the psychic attack as well.
I really brought it forward.
Yeah,
That year of
Now,
2020 was very powerful
yeah,
for a lot of us.
yes,
yeah.
yeah,
Debs, when
In
you talk about
challenging
psychic
areas.
attacks,
Yeah.
what exactly are you talking about? I feel like some of our listeners might
yeah,
not understand what a psychic attack
yeah.
is. So, how was that for you, or what happened to you?
Very subtle. It was like a gradual thing. I just slowly started to feel very, very tired and drained, and I lost my appetite. I lost 30 pounds in weight over the period of a year. I couldn't eat, and I just felt my mind was, as I said, was going. So someone was actually pulling, but I was allowing it. This only happens to you if you're giving your power away. I was giving my power away. So
How did you like, and now you can look back
yeah,
and say, I was doing that or allowing that. But in the moment, did you know that you were allowing that, or did you know what was happening?
well, I had my own support system. I had my Reiki master, and I went to her, and she explained to me what had happened. I says, that does make sense. And I thought back to who was my circle then, and I knew exactly uh, what had been happening. So I got the healing that I needed. It took a long time, but it was definitely personal to me. But what I
Okay.
would say to people, if you feel that you're coming out of your own comfort zone, it's hard to explain. For me, it just felt
Mm-hmm.
like I was jumpy. I just wanted to, I couldn't relax, and I knew it wasn't right. And it went on and on and on until it just floored me. So it's a very subtle thing, but it's just about boundaries. It's keeping your boundaries up and being aware of who you are basically giving your power away to. But I'm fully in my power now. That will never happen again, ever.
Yeah.
So you feel like the psychic attack was coming from another person, not a spirit, or a spirit?
No, it was people.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, because that can sound really scary, like, oh gosh, and now the, spirits
yeah,
attack you or whatever. But
yeah,
yeah, I feel like
yeah,
it's either another like
yes,
you're so connected in energy and you're feeling energy now
yeah. It's
that now you're getting so influenced by other people's energies, and that is what is like considered a psychic attack. Or I mean, sometimes for me, I feel like I have been inundated by spirits, but there's never been like a psychic attack, in my opinion, is not like something evil coming after you. It's more, yeah, about boundaries and controlling that
mhm,
psychic energy. Would you guys
Well,
agree with that?
it can be all of it, or
yeah,
I mean, it
Okay.
depends on the person and the
mhm,
situation, right? So, um, and it can be all of the above, because when we're not grounded, or if we're very open energetically and we're
very
not
open. Mhm,
protecting and understanding our system and clearing our system, there can be that buildup. Now, it also depends on what a person is doing. So if they're putting themselves in vulnerable situations, then, and again, it also depends on your level of, you know, how are you communicating? Because some people are going to pick up more on psychic energies from human beings and say less from spirit. It just really depends on what you're
Mm,
doing, what does your
yeah,
energy attract,
yeah,
and deciphering it is the awareness
yes,
of what am I doing? Like,
yes,
how do I feel, and what am I doing? What are my surroundings? What are my habits? What are
yes,
my, and Debs, I think there's one thing that's important too that you've said is you always had a knowing. So
mhm,
even if that knowing wasn't right up as the, giving you the answer, but you always knew, okay, there's something going on. There's something, you would
yeah,
know that something was
yeah.
off.
And it's being open, very open. I was very open, as I say, because I came from such a dark place, for a big part of my life with the
Mm-hmm.
social anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
I was just so delighted and blissful when I went in,
Yeah.
to this lovely, energy of connecting with spirit. And I didn't understand anything. I didn't think anybody would be in, not in their integrity in that way, that they, especially
Yeah.
in Ireland, there's a lot of stuff that goes on. It's in our history, a lot of
Yeah.
that kind of stuff that goes on.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
wow.
yeah,
That see, I am sitting now naive as you were then, because I'm like, I can't believe I have like known it to be like someone's unintentionally taking energy from you, or you're just overwhelmed by all the energies that are going on, but to like have someone purposely take energy from you,
well, no one can
it's
take it
just,
from you unless you're
that's
allowing them
true.
to. And I was allowing it
Yes,
to
that's
because
true.
I was so open. So I
Yes.
had to learn that lesson. It's a
Yeah.
huge lesson for me, and I learned it over a couple of times.
Yeah.
It's like anything too, Marin. Um, no matter, like, we're in spiritual communities, and it's as we get to know ourselves and know kind of, because you, Debs, were balancing. So you were coming in, like you said, from an extreme. So
Yeah,
you were going into that extreme and then had to
yeah,
learn how to balance.
yeah,
And it doesn't matter whether we speak about the spiritual communities, but not all spiritual communities, just like with religion or anything else, there is polarity in it,
yeah.
and not everybody has the best intention.
Mhm.
So it's kind of like that, you go in and feel so welcome and warmed, and it is true for many, like, this is not everywhere, but
Mhm.
there are
Yeah,
people that walk with a different intention, and
yeah.
that's why you have to really know yourself and really know your own energy so that you're aware,
Hmm.
and I think that another important thing is understanding what does open mean to me, because I know that I feel very open, and I I walk with a very openness, but I was way more open before. Like I
Yeah.
was wanting to tell everything and share everything
Same,
and just,
same.
because I felt like I needed to do that to be honest. I was on this path of I know my vulnerability is important. I know being completely clear is important because I needed to be able to get that out. What I didn't understand, and this is so I can feel what you're saying, Deb, what I didn't understand is that not everybody was taking that honesty and doing the best with it in their thoughts and their actions.
Yeah.
So I learned the hard way as well, in some circumstances. So it's kind of it's an important lesson. It's very important, but it's just really knowing yourself, because going through those things allowed me to really understand. And here's another important part, is those people that do those things, some of them do it consciously, some of them do it unconsciously,
Yes.
but there's always a reason why people do things.
Yeah.
There's a need that's being filled. And many times they're not trying to hurt, but a lot of times, and you can get into this with, I talk about this a lot with competition. People feel they need to take information sometimes and use it against someone else so that they can get themselves, further ahead. And the reason why I'm saying this is because what I've learned, and I live this to my core, nobody can compete with you. You're competing with yourself. There's no comparison. And the best thing to do, and this is why we do this, is to lift other people up.
Yeah.
Feel that vibration, you lift them up, because we all have our own individual vibration that we have to offer to the world, and those that we're best able to help come to us. That's the way that I operate.
Yeah.
And I have no problem sharing that and putting that right out in the forefront, because that's who I am. And that's what I surround myself with, is other people that feel the same. So when you understand vibration, you know that when you're operating that way inside, you're attracting that back to you. But it takes a little bit of practice to get through it. And when you've dealt with narcissism as well, it's working through that, working through the difficulties of healing through a narcissistic relationship or relationships, so that you're no longer attracting those cycles anymore, because that will come in, whether it's the spiritual community or anywhere else. You'll attract that energy until you work through it, if that's something that you have to work through. For those of us that are very empathic, sure have had to work through a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for clarifying. I feel bad I got you off track with your topic. So that was your journey. That's your backstory. And so where are you now? What are you doing now?
I have built my website. I'm doing card readings, which I love doing, and I'm doing some true crime, which I never thought I would do.
Wait, what do you mean you're
I'm
doing
doing true
true
crime
crime?
readings. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What?
And it's so much
So
fun.
people call you and ask about like a crime that happened, or are you working with police, or like what does this
No,
mean?
I'm doing I do it on my YouTube channel. So if you've heard of someone
Oh,
like Chris Watts, or that whatever it is, and people are so interested in that. So they
yeah.
will I'll put up, right, we're going to look into this. If something has come up in the case, and I have this wonderful deck, and it's called Whispers of the Unsolved. It's actually Kester's deck. It's so thick, and it has all this stuff in it, all different topics about crime. So it's magical. So I just shuffle it and do the reading and ask questions. And sometimes I play a video of, a bit of footage about the crime, and I pull the cards, and it all just turns into a big investigation. So it's like being a little mini detective. It's so much fun. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. And so you can check this out on your YouTube page, is that
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And tell me again, it's Scar
SilverVioletFlame.com.
Silver
Violet Flame.
Valley?
Violet
Violet. Okay.
Flame.com.
SilverVioletFlame.com.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll
So
have
doing that,
Got it.
and
all Deb's information in the
yeah.
description too, if you guys
Yes.
to check her out, because and I love that you do psychic investigations
Do you?
and doing it with the cards. And yes, I absolutely love that. I think that is so fascinating, and a lot of information. I feel that you get a lot of, not only with the cards, but the intuitive information that comes through. And do you find that you're connecting with any of the spirits when you do that?
Yeah,
Do you feel
I
feel
do.
their energy? So when you're channeling about, say, crystal watts, as an example, do you ever feel Shanann or any of that
Yeah,
energy?
I haven't actually done them yet. I've done Sebastian Rogers, the little boy who went missing in Tennessee, I think it was. And yeah, I felt him. I do. I'm starting to. So I'm just having fun with it, and I'm just allowing it to come through. And I think it's good because I find the more I do this, different little things come in, and the best way to do it is to not to keep asking, and I want to hear more. I want to, just to allow it to come in different ways. Yeah,
Having fun. That's
fun,
a big one.
Having
fun, because that's what brings the creativity, and that getting lost in something that you enjoy.
Yeah.
That's where it all just floods in.
And also, a lovely soul sister has come into my life, and she's like my Marin to Michelle, because I was actually manifesting. I would sit and watch you, and I would go, I wish I had a Marin. I wish, I had a Michelle. And I would actually sit in the energy and go, I really wish I need that. I really wish I had it. And I would put my heart. And she's here. She is here.
She's here.
And she's from Texas.
That's awesome.
Eric Center.
That's so amazing.
Michelle has confirmed that we had a past life together, and we are creating decks together. I have just created an anxiety deck. That's what she's getting into. She's creating oracles and decks for people, and it's just going off to the printers next week. And we're doing that, and we're doing little joint ventures together. And we thought we would do a little show like yours and create our own community. And she's just starting off on her path, and I have a bit of experience, and I thought we could use that dynamic and help people in our community, and also encourage them to create, and make their own decks and whatever it is that they want to create. So yeah, it's been great. It really has.
That is wonderful.
Yeah.
Like watching candles being lit all over the place.
Oh.
These candles are lighting, and they just keep lighting all over the place.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
It's just such a beautiful journey.
Mm-hmm.
You've taken the time to address things that need to be healed and addressed your self-limiting beliefs, and now you're in a space where you're having fun and you're manifesting and you're living your true self. And that's kind of what we talked about last episode, was authenticity is enlightenment, and so you're living your true authentic self and you're feeling so enlightened, and that's a beautiful story.
In a grounded way.
In a grounded, yes, you're doing it grounded now. That's very important.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
What do you do to ground yourself? What's your main thing to stay grounded?
I swim in the sea. I just love.
You swim in the sea.
Yeah. Or I have a grounding mat, and I go out and walk in nature as much as I can. And even hopping into the shower, and I call in the violet flame, and because I'm very deeply connected with that from Saint Germain, and I have a mantra, and I just call that in all the time and clear out my energy and bring in pure light. So not ground.
Okay. Okay, so tell me that. So Saint Germain is the violet light.
Yes, that was the very first thing that really caught me when I was opening up. There's a lady called Elizabeth Clare Prophet, and she's, well, talking about it in the 70s, and that was her thing, Saint Germain and the Silver Violet Flame, and I started watching her videos, and I was like, oh my God, this is me. This is, I just felt that real deep soul connection with her and the Violet Flame. And she would have everybody then in the 70s, saying all these mantras. I am the violet flame in action in me now. I am the violet flame till light alone I bow. I was saying them. I was sitting in the car saying them and, doing all this crazy stuff. But I was like, this is me. I really love this. So when I went and got my Reiki attunement, the teacher, she was all into the violet flame as well. And she gave it as a separate attunement. And she says, does anybody know what it is? And I said, how do you know all about it? So I told her. She says, that's because it's you. That's your thing. And I never let go of that. I never let go of Saint Germain and the Violet Flame. And that's why I called my website Silver Violet Flame. The silver is the colour that he gave to light workers to help them clear their energy. So he added the silver, so I called my website the Silver Violet Flame. It's protection.
Oh.
How apt is that?
Yeah.
The silver is all about protection and being a warrior of light.
Yeah. You are a warrior of light.
Yeah. So I'm working on my own healing modality now with the Silver Violet Flame, where I studying the anatomy of people and I send it in to the areas that are blocked and transmute the energy. Right. So I'm doing some case studies on that at the minute with people. If anybody wants to come forward, if there's anything, any problems, I'd be happy to do some work on them and send in the Violet Flame, because I'm told it's very, very powerful to use.
Yeah.
So you're getting into the cellular memory and changing it back to light. And everybody can heal themselves, and that's what the Violet Flame is all about. It's just bringing it in and transmuting darkness back to light.
Yeah.
That's exciting as well.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That sounds similar to the theta work, right? Because sounds like there's all those affirmations and that helps with self-limiting beliefs. So it kind of sounds, is that along the same line?
I suppose it is, only it's working more with the body parts. Like I'll go into,
structure,
say, the kidneys, or go into the pineal gland, or go into somewhere where someone has, some kind of energy block. Because I suppose it's like the work that Michelle and, everyone does. I think all these healing modalities are just the same thing. They're just like a permission slip. They're like, you're ready to go in now. So it's like when the student is ready, the teacher appears. So they're just permission slips to heal. And I think it's just whatever you're drawn to. Some people will be drawn to that, and some people will be drawn to something else.
Yeah, we just have to discover our own alignment, and I love that you are. I love that you're working through with your own modality.
Yeah,
I think that is so important, to really find what is very personalized to you, because we all have the ability, and it takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of courage to go in there and work within ourselves and work with our own spirit and our own spirit team to find that modality that works, because that is something, and I feel something that you will be teaching as well.
Great.
You're a powerful healer.
I do love to help people, especially people who are anxious and afraid. That's my passion. Connecting them back to their spark, their divine spark, and connecting with their soul and stripping back all the labels and the layers. And that's really just the simplicity of it. People are just get caught up in their labels. that everyone puts on them. And, you know, so I just get rid of all those
Yeah.
labels and get back to what you came here with and start again. That's what I had to do.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I just love it.
Yeah.
So let's see if there's anything that you could share with our community to someone that's in a space where they're just not, they want to step out and say, start doing healing work or start working for other people. Is there any advice that you could give from your experience that would help somebody kind of transition into that space?
Yes, I would just say clear your own energy first and be aware of where your perceived limitations are. I always say to people, go and get a Reiki session, because I'm a firm believer that Reiki energy goes in and puts you on your path. And if you can get a level 1 Reiki attunement, because it's any attunement raises your vibration, and that's what it's done for me. So yeah, just clear away your own doubts and fears. And a lot of people are awakening young now, so they probably don't have as many, you know, as someone older. And everything's happening at great speed now. And when I was awakening,
Yes.
it was, the energy was so thick and it took a long time. But I've been through a couple of awakenings and probably will go through some more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, just be aware of their
Well,
limitations.
that's good.
And be honest and true
Yeah.
with how they feel about themselves. Yeah. Because I wasn't.
You're great to call.
I just got carried away. And that's okay.
Maren, do you have
I
any
had to
other
learn that
questions for
lesson.
Deb?
I don't. I just think it's such a beautiful, like, I feel you're the embodiment of why we do this show, because we want people to come from a place where they have this desire or this little light inside of them, and then they have these journeys and they go through the work and the healing work, and then they live their true purpose. And it doesn't have to be mediumship. It doesn't have to be, this intuitive purpose, but whatever it is, just taking these lessons that we offer every week and, you know, changing your life is why we're here. And you did that. And it's just amazing. And I just feel so happy for you that you're just having so much fun now, and
I'm so
you're
grateful.
doing what you love. That's amazing.
Gratitude just oozes out of me. I'm just like, every day, and I'm just like, I'm so grateful. Mm.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And
I
that's
love
what's
it.
probably bringing it in too, because I am so grateful. Say gratitude
Yeah.
brings in
Yeah.
abundance.
Gratitude's a big part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're very grateful to have you with us today. We're very
Thank
grateful
you.
that you
Thank
shared
you
your
for having
light
me.
and all of your beautiful, loving energy and your voice, your beautiful voice. To hear you speak is
I
just,
know.
it's a treat. It is. It lulls me. It's so relaxing.
Yeah.
It just lulls me.
I
Well,
can't. Oh, you're breaking
thank
up a
you
bit.
guys.
Sorry, I
Thank
missed
you so
that.
much. Oh, sorry. It's this. I'm gonna get a new mic this week. I'm manifesting a new mic, but I might
I
actually
know.
be going in and getting one. So.
Something clinks and clangs. Yeah.
Find my zipper. I'm
Well,
sorry,
thank
guys.
you
Sorry for
so
the
much,
audio.
Debs.
Thank you so much. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
having me. I really
Thank
enjoyed
you.
it.
And all of
It's
her
such an honor.
information, again, will be down in the description box.
Thank
So you
you.
guys can check her out, watch her
Yes.
videos, and book a session with her because she's an amazing healer and a lot of fun to be around.
Oh,
Yes.
thank
Yes.
you.
All right.
Silvervioletflame.com. Perfect. Okay.
Perfect.
All right. Thanks,
All
everyone.
right.
We'll see you next week.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
See you next week, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.